Quickly, I'm going to be sharing a screen with you. Once you see my screen, please let me know. Yeah, so tonight we are going to pick on directly on things you need to put in place while trying to sell to Nigerians in diaspora. Very importantly, because as it is, I understand that a lot of us are very much interested in selling across um, other countries and continents to Nigerians in diaspora and probably Nigerians in Asia, Nigerian in. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can.
All right, all right. So this particular session will address those of us who are trying to sell properties to Nigerians in diaspora. Things you need to prepare ahead of time before you launch out, because most of us are always very eager to immediately launch our campaigns and try to sell to Nigerians, whether in Nigeria or whether in diaspora. In my data analysis for the market we are focused on here, I've realized that we have only three categories of people who are still actively buying properties in Nigeria. As such, Nigerians in diaspora topping the list has given us a huge advantage to actually extend our campaigns to them. So, by and out tonight, before we consider launching the campaigns and then so we can generate the lead from Nigerians in diaspora, there are things you need to put in place. There are so many peculiarities that come with selling to Nigerians in diaspora. So, I'm going to share my screen with you alongside this so you can at least from here get to see my screen. When once you see the screen, let me know, please. Can you see my screen?
Sure, we can.
All right. Okay. So quickly here. Now this is it. Selling properties to Nigerians in diaspora has become one of the most effective ways to easily sell. For those of us who are selling properties in Lagos, whose properties are in Lagos, you have a little challenge. You already know this. So we're going to be having a bit of interaction in the process. Presently, at the moment, we have two categories of people who are currently buying in Lagos: the emotional buyers and the investors. Now, the emotional buyers are those who are actually not investing their money in properties. There are those who are buying for convenience and then they are buying based on their emotion. The moment they hear Lagos State government demolishes houses, they now start shivering and then start withdrawing their interest in their property submission or property investment in Lagos. But then we have a second category who are the property investors. This category of people who are buying properties in Lagos don't pay attention to all the negative report. What they do is that they do what we call due process. All right, they carry out due process, and then they are seriously looking out for realtors who are going to help them in the process of that due process that they are carrying out independently before they even contact a realtor. Now, this is where I usually talk about digital positioning. But for tonight, our focus is on you, a dear realtor who is actually trying to sell properties to Nigerians in diaspora. What are the things you need to know? What are the things you need to put in place? What should you do going forward? Now, For those who are joining me for the first time, my name is Timothy Anietie. I bear that name across all social media platforms, so you may want to follow me. And if you are here to subscribe to my channel on YouTube, you can as well go in there right now and follow me on YouTube as well with the name Timothy Anietia. All right. I run a team of Marketing Lab HQ. We are actually a technology and marketing agency where we provide services to businesses like yours, the real estate, the manufacturers, the consultant, B2B and B2C, product retailers, and all. All right. So we help businesses scale and make more profit through digital media, advertising, and marketing. Now, going forward, selling your properties to Nigerians in diaspora is one of the most interesting pattern at the moment that most people are eager to jump at. But there is a problem. All right, Nigerians in diaspora are actually one major categories that you already know. All right, so we have three different categories of buyers, but Nigerians in diaspora have been the number one category of people that are buying majorly at the moment in the country. All right. So in 2022, I've actually made a research about the 2023 statistics. It wasn't complete, but I still work with the statistics of the 2022 and the first quarter of 2023. It was reported by so in 2022 and first quarter of 2023, Statista reported that about 40 billion US dollars came into Nigeria from Nigerians in diaspora. And then it was also reported that about 60% of the figure went into investment in real estate. So now that actually prompted a lot of realtors to gain interest in selling to Nigerians in diaspora. While the interest was actually good, many of them didn't see the roadblocks and the challenges that they may encounter while trying to do that. You see, primarily, there are lots of advantages in selling to those people because they have advantage over us when it comes to exchange rate at the moment. All right. So when they send in $20,000 that back home, you know what that can be exchanged into. So now it would take someone in a place like US to send in 30 million naira than it would take someone in Nigeria to actually bring out 30 million naira. So the difference is clear. The exchange rate advantage is a huge advantage to them as well. So now the problem there is that the media people whom you are leveraging do not want you to advertise using their platform. Now, this is it. You are actually going to be advertising using Google, you're going to be advertising using Facebook, Instagram, and all. All right. So, most of you, you've been exposed to advertising to WhatsApp. But then the owners of these platforms in the countries whom you intend to target Nigerians in diaspora have a particular data law. All right. Now there is a data protection law in a particular country, like, okay, let's say we have the European and then we have the American data protection law, but in Asia it's a bit lessen. All right, so now in Africa we don't have this particular law, but then when you intend to sell properties to Nigerians in those locations, you are bound by those. And then this is it. When you try to use Facebook, for instance, Facebook for right? Facebook inbuilt forms, you are likely going to run into troubles because one, your data are directly going to be filtered by the media platform. All right. So, and then they are very conscious of what you do with the data you are acquiring. All right. This is one of the reasons I usually recommend that by the time you try to sell properties to Nigerians in diaspora, be sure that you have prepared your own landing page, which I call a funnel. I will explain further here. All right. Now, before we proceed further, I had already told you we have three categories of top buyers at the moment in Nigeria. And then, as you can see, Nigerians in diaspora top the lists. All right. So now they are the most purchased category at the moment. And we have the wealth preserver. But for tonight, I'm not going to be dwelling in these other two. All right, we have the wealth preservers, and then we have the creative industry income earners. And then, interestingly, the creative industry income earners are not interested in buying your properties, but they buy. All right. So what you sell to them is not properties. You sell state of mind to the creative industry income earners. They are mostly dominated by the young people. All right. So you are going to be selling things that excite them, but that's not where we are dwelling tonight. All right. So in my trainings, I usually take one category after the other. So for tonight, our focus is on how we can sell to Nigerians in diaspora. So the remaining two categories will come much later in other sessions. Now, this is it. While it actually may be a bit challenging to do so, the bigger problem is even not the media platform. The bigger problem is in the people you are trying to sell to. So everybody here may probably understand this. Nigerians in diaspora are actually scared of you. So now we are going to get to a point where you understand how to handle their fears, where I actually talked about digital trust building. Now, as a realtor, you are a stranger to this particular individual whom you've just targeted. I've always told us selling properties is not the same thing as selling fashion items like wristwatches and shoes. You are selling a product that has been termed special product. All right. So one of the reasons you see some of the media platforms that we advertise through restricting direct advertisement for properties in some continents is that they have termed that industry as special industry. All right. So if you already know that you are selling a special product, then you should be carrying out your marketing processes in a very special way. All right. So what are the problem? The problem is that you are already appearing as a suspect to Nigerians in diaspora based on either their personal experiences or experiences of others. Even most of them don't trust their family members to send money back home, but they can still risk working with a company whom they find credible. So, how do you now make yourself digitally credible for a Nigerian in diaspora to trust your brand when you are discovered? So one of the ways to do that is actually not to be in pursuit of those prospects, is for you to intentionally position for those prospects to discover you. I'm going to explain what that means. You see, in digital media, we have digital prospecting, and we also have digital positioning. Now, digital prospecting will always give you a lot of work to do in order to make your brand acceptable, in order to make your brand trustworthy. Yeah. But then digital positioning automatically gives your brand that trustworthiness that it deserves. Now, this is it. When someone discovers you through either Google or YouTube, you have automatically appeared to that individual as someone who has some level of authority in that niche. All right, you are automatically seen as one who is an authority in that niche. This is why people say that 99% of those who find you on Google will believe Google more than whatever information you are going to tell them. So, how do you now get yourself positioned on either YouTube or Google? Because these two tools are owned by one person. I mean, one company. All right. YouTube is a product of Google. All right. Alphabet as a company. Google is a product of Alphabet, and then YouTube is a product of Alphabet. All right. So now these two products are from one company. So now coming together, they are interrelated. So it means that when your content goes in on YouTube, you also have that leverage of visibility on Google search results. Now, if I always want to use myself as an example, if you go to YouTube and search for how to sell properties to Nigerians in diaspora or YouTube marketing ideas in Nigeria, you are likely going to see my videos. And most people here actually found me through that means. before advertising. So you are likely going to find me positioned there. All right, so you should do same. Now, Nigerians in diaspora who have had some funds are actively looking for ways to put their money back home because they understand that the money has a lot of values back home and they understand how property be investment work. All right, they equally want to key into the growing real estate sector globally at the moment. It's been said by virtually every investment advisor that investment in property is one of the best investments in the world. So they know, all right, they know all this, but the problem is that can I trust you? All right, so that's the bigger problem you have. The problem isn't even that they want to buy. The problem is that can I trust you and buy with you? So that's the primary effort you need to make to put yourself and your brand as one whom they can trust. And they will not trust you because you tell them to trust you. They will only trust you because they have seen something that makes them to trust you. How well do you analyze the property market? How well do you talk about the location? Now, for instance, if a Nigerian in diaspora is looking for an information like best location to invest in Lagos State, best location to invest in real estate in Nigeria. Are you able to, be seen giving out detailed analysis with data? Don't be a motivational speaker. When selling properties, nobody pays attention to a motivational speaker. You have to be able to put out detailed data, all right? How are you sure that the location you've recommended is one of the best locations to invest in? What backs up your claim? It's not because you heard that one man in 1998 bought the property. No. Do you have verifiable data that you know based on your experience in real estate you have applied in the last couple of months, in the last couple of years? It could be research. It could be personal analysis. Just be sure that you are not sounding motivational, all right? And then be consistent in dishing out your market analysis. Don't sell. There is a particular course I did, and I say it outrightly. Because you are in real estate business doesn't mean that you should be focused on selling land and building. People do not buy land and building, especially Nigerians in diaspora. The primary reason why they send money back home is for them to have an easily liquidated asset, is for them to have a cash flow investment, is for them to protect the future. All right, because they know that where they are is another man's land. Anything can happen. So most of them are doing this so that they can protect themselves. All right, and then they want something that will give them cash flow. If you wonder why people get scammed in some schemes, you realize that people are always looking out for cash flow investments, and then people are also always looking out for business they look out that is an easily liquidated asset. This is one of the reasons you see that a company will come out and promise some people, if you bring in maybe you give us 10 million naira today, we will keep that 10 million for a minimum of 6 months. And every month we are going to give you 30% of your money back to you as your commission. While whenever you want to withdraw your money after 6 months, you can always request to withdraw. Now that sounds very interesting. What they offered them was one, they gave them a cash flow investment. They are going to be receiving money monthly, and then they gave them capital protection. All right, even though most time they end up losing the capital. All right, the capital protection was promised to them that by the time you come back, even after 6 months, you can withdraw your money, even after you've received all the commissions in the last 6 months. So your capital is still protected. Now, this will always trigger a baby investor to put in their money there because those are the immediate expectation of an average investor. All right, and most times they end up losing their money. So as a property investment consultant, being a realtor, all right, what you need to focus on is not on buy land and buy building. You don't even need to tell people not to buy their cars. What you need to focus on is how you can be able to present an easily liquidated asset, capital protection investments, and then you give them cash flow investment, and then also be sure that you are able to protect their future in all your marketing communication. Be sure that all these are rightly integrated together, and we are going to have a more easier you're going to have an easier marketing journey with people like this. All right. So now, two things. We have explained this already, the history of scam and then the fear of wrong investment. You've already heard about properties being demolished in different locations. They are scared even though they want to invest. So first of all, be sure that you are able to handle their fear before you present any offer. Now, being able to handle their fear before they even get to establish a sales journey with you is one of the most important aspects of your positioning. All right. Why people lose properties in Lagos? That can be a topic you talk on YouTube. It can be a topic you write on your blog. It can be a topic you write on your social media. It can be a topic you write on your Google My Business page. All right, Google My Business page on your platform is equally where you can actually leverage and use as a blog if you don't have an active blog. All right, because it gives you an immediate visibility. All right, so be sure that you make researches for what they are looking out for, and then be sure to give content in those areas. Build your digital trust. I've just taken time to explain these things that will give you their trust so that you don't end up saying, "Trust me, I will not scam you." No, they won't trust you that way. I've already explained this, so I'm just going to how to build digital trust. I think you get it. All right. No one wants to be the first to buy from you. Very important. You should be able to communicate your journey, establish your expertise and authority in your industry. All right. So I've actually explained how to communicate your journey and establish your authority. I've explained this, and then in a very short daily activities, you can directly communicate your expertise and your authority in this industry. Because people that you display your properties every day on social media doesn't mean that you are trustworthy, right? People need to see how many people have been buying from you. There is something called social proof. Even if you've just started selling, you are affiliated with a company, or even if you've just joined real estate, you've not even sold a single property yet, but you are affiliated with a company. Go alongside with the company when they go for allocation, take enough pictures, get to snap with the people they are allocating and presenting document with. I've said this couple of times, it's a strategy. The truth is that nobody will believe. See, being too normal does not guarantee you sales success. You have to be crazy and or outthink the box. Forget about thinking out of the box. Destroy the box and outthink it. So what you need to do is that, look, I'm new. Nobody wants to listen to you that you are new. Nobody wants to be the first to give you money because you are new. Nobody buys based on sympathy. They invest based on expertise and assurance of their capital protection. So they want to see that in you, first of all. If you've not sold any, if it is your very first allocation that you are going with the company, don't go with just one cloth. You can change, take more pictures. You need it for your social proof, and you need it to build your brand image and your personal reputation and authority on digital media, and you don't dump them there. Now, I have a friend who traveled once to the US last year, and then he took as many pictures as possible. He came back since December. As I'm speaking with you, he has been posting that picture till today. Not the same. So maybe once in a week, you just see him post. His location will turn to the US, and then he will post a cute picture. Then now he is a public speaker. Now, this is building his image. All right. What he does is that he has used that one time travel to build some credible material that will build up his brand in subsequent months that is going to be here even without another opportunity to go back there. You can do same for your brand as a realtor, right? Get your marketing materials. Those are marketing materials, all right? Pick mix them in your content, all right? You don't just video buildings only. Then talk about properties, analyze properties, share your social proof in between, and then you're going to be able to build. There is a chain, there's a long chain in building a digital trust. I wouldn't be able to cover that here, but it's in the course. You can, I mean, covering the digital trust building. It's a lot that you can do to build your digital trust. I'm just going to show you a bit of it, but I'm not going to cover it. So you have to be able to gain visibility the right way, build authority, have a routine, be human. All right, show real data. I've spoken about this. Don't be a motivational speaker. And then social proof is there. All right, I've talked about this. So it's more like a chain that helps you to build a digital trust that people will see and say, yeah, this guy has been here. All right, so I shared my training course that I did in 2012 when Facebook brought out the memory. It was recorded at a video box, and then it was on website design. And I was shocked when I saw it 2012. And some of those that had gotten the courses back then and attended my trainings were like, oh wow, these videos are still here. So people still send messages. This was the video that got me into web design industry and all that. And then it builds what we called authority. Automatically, those that have never, I mean, patronized saw those and see that, yeah, this person has been long enough. He's been building alongside, and I think he deserves a trust. Now, while we build further, there is another different perspective entirely from Gartner. All right, Gartner actually shares something to us who are trying to prospect Nigerians abroad. It actually explains what you should do. All right, it's a simple definition of what the real prospecting is. All right. Some of us actually feel that posting every day on social media is actually prospecting. No, you are not prospecting. You are just being busy and trying to, I mean, help Mark Zuckerberg build his platform with your frequent content. Now, prospecting, it actually has unique and important elements that guide it. All right. One of the things about prospecting is that you must have a process. All right. And the process involves you identifying and contacting potential customers. Gartner says prospecting is the first step of the sales process, which involves identifying and contacting potential customers. The goal of prospecting is to create a database of likely customers. Now, this is very simple. It simply means that you are not going around randomly hitting on people. All right. You are going to sit down, identify, like I've helped you already with three categories of people who are buying properties at the moment. So now you don't need to make those research again. Now, what you need to do is where are there? Who are the wealth preservers? Who are the creative industry income earners? The Nigerians in diaspora is actually self-explanatory. Now, when you find out who they are, the next question in your mind should be where are they? When you have identified who they are, now where are they? When you know where they are, and then the next question should be how do I contact them? When you've identified how to contact them, the next one should be how do I build a database for them? So now that brings up all the elements together in your journey of prospecting. So don't just carry out random daily activities. All right, be sure that you are setting up a process in identifying and contacting only potential customers, not random people. It is why in my lead acquisition campaigns, I am an advocate of pre-qualification. Don't capture anyone. Pre-qualify. In my training, I will specifically ask you, are you able to afford this course? If you say no, I won't contact you. I won't. If you say you can't afford the course, it's fine. I won't contact you. You are not my target. So I pre-qualify who I'm looking for. All right. So the goal of prospecting is to create a database of likely customers. You don't want to target, don't want to just acquire people whose bank balance home and abroad is 500,000 naira, and then your property, the list of your property is 10 million naira, what magic do you think will happen? They are interested, but they can't afford it. Interest means nothing when there is no buying capacity. And there is no magic. There is nothing you can do when there is no buying capacity. They have the interest, but interest does not do transfer. It is the capacity that will be able to fund what the interest is. So, first of all, identify capacity. All right. Do they have the capacity to buy? I've already helped you. Don't target randomly. These three categories are those that will buy your property, irrespective of the economic meltdown. Because the creative industry income earners are actively earning from the social media monetization and YouTube and all that. They are earning consistently weekly and monthly. All right. Most of them are receiving dollars and exchanging in this economy, but they do not want to buy properties. So you have to understand how to sell to them. I've explained how to sell to them anyway, but not here tonight. Okay, the goal, I've said this. So after that, you create a database. So I've told this. I actually was training a particular company, a real estate company. I was training their sales team, and I asked them, how many properties do you have as a goal to sell in a month? And then they told me maybe 5, maybe 10. I was so embarrassed to hear maybe, because there was no specific goal. And then I asked them, how many leads do you think you need to acquire in a month in order for you to be able to sell to this number of persons? I couldn't get I couldn't get the right feedback. It was somewhat embarrassing to me, because I actually felt a company like that should have unique data they work with. So this is it. I work with 2%. I usually work with 2% conversion ratio. If you want to sell to 10 people, you know that you have to speak to at least more than 1,000 leads. All right. So you don't sit in a month without generating lead and then believe that you are going to be able to sell. And then you generate the leads and then you don't follow up on the lead. Sales does not happen based on how you feel. That you prayed on a Sunday and blessed your week is not enough. You have to pick up your phone and call to close. You have to do that cold calling. You have to do that follow up in every way possible. All right. You have to follow up in a unique way. I can't explain this in a better way, because for tonight we're actually focused on the marketing, not sales closing for tonight. We are focused on marketing, but then this is it for now. So understand the sales closing system first of all. Why I am bringing this up here? It's simple. People are always in a haste to sell, even in their sales communication. There is something called it's cold selling. You don't cold sell your audience. You educate to sell. For example, cold selling is telling someone he's not supposed to eat 3 square meals instead, because he ought to be saving the money to invest in properties. That's not how to, communicate your sales process. Now, you would have rather projected that content in a way that, look, I can help you build an investment timeline with calculated savings. If you are earning let's say for instance, if you're earning between 100 to 200,000 and your monthly bills is between this and this, it is very simple that you have to calculate at least this percentage for your future. Now, this percentage for your future is specifically for your investments. Now, knowing that this is your income capacity, this is the timeline you have to give to yourself to get your first property. The timeline is that every month you have to put aside this. Now, what you have done is that you've not scolded them and you've not made them feel bad for earning within that range. You've only helped them to understand that they still stand a chance. All right. And then with you being their investment advisor, not just a realtor who is interested in selling land and building. All right, because most of us are one of the reasons we struggle in selling properties is that we are selling for survival. We have bills to pay, and we are so eager. If we don't make that sales this month or this week, we may likely not be able to take care of the home. So that survival is one of the things killing your sales journey. You are not able to build an effective marketing system and journey for your process. You are always eager. If you are not buying, I beg leave. All right, but then I told you earlier, real estate is not fashion or daily need. Real estate is actually a special product, a special industry. They will buy from you when they know that you are in for them, not just for yourself. And then trust me, you have competition. One property is being promoted by over 200 people. So different companies have realtors signed up to promote the same property. Now you must be strategic to be different, all right, in your communication. Otherwise, you are just going to remain like every other person. Okay, now this is it. For some of us who have gotten my course, you have probably seen this. And for those who have gone to my YouTube before now, you probably have also seen this in one of my videos. Now, so you are about to sell to Nigerians in diaspora. This is the most interesting part. Nigerians in diaspora are one of the most busiest people in the world because most Nigerians in diaspora have more than one job, and then they work on schedule. All right, they work on shift. All right, it could be that they have a morning shift and a night shift. So by and now, the attention span is very limited. So now, when you attract, you must be sure that you have captured them almost immediately. So there is no need for too much grammar, no need for too much long content. What you need to do, if in the best way possible, just have maybe 1 or 2 minute introductory video that brings them in, introduce you and your offer to them, and then get them to a call to action almost immediately because they are busy. From there, once you have had the necessary information, you can then follow up. They will always have a chance to look it up, all right, when they are relaxed. And then as long as they have gotten into your system, you can make a call. And then you have to check the timing that is right for them in the follow-up processes between you and them in calls. Now, this is where sacrifices comes in. If you're gonna be targeting Nigerians in the country like America, you know that your night will be distorted because most of them will be based on our time zone. We are gonna be having to speak to them within a very inconveniencing timeline. All right, so you have to be able to put that up. So now the top here clearly tells us where everybody rushes to because, like I told you, everybody has interest in property, but only those who can afford are always the one who can make the payment. All right, like interest means absolutely nothing without buying capacity. So these are people who saw your video and then clicked on the link that you put on the call to action, and then someone saw your blog content, click on the link to your landing page. From Facebook, they clicked on it. From YouTube, they clicked on it. From web page, from Instagram. So all these are your traffic sources where you've actually made effort for them to see your content, and then you place your call to action. They are all jumping in. They are coming in just to be here. And then when they get to your landing page at the acquisition stage, you don't acquire everyone. It is okay because the top is wide. Everyone can actually fly into the funnel, but you don't actually allow everyone to pass through it. That's the point where you set in your pre-qualifying questions. All right, so you know the right people to get in and the right people to go out. Now, Seth Gordon said something. Why I do not recommend WhatsApp ad is that people who spend at least 2 minutes of their time to complete a task on your webpage are serious intending customers. Now it is left for you to convince them. It is left for you to make them like you enough to buy from you. All right. So buy and out, they are here. All right. They have jumped in, they have interests. All right. It is within you to now find out, now that you are here, do you have the capacity? So now you place all that here because you don't want to waste your time speaking to people who cannot afford your property. So now you stay here and pre-qualify them at the point of acquisition. This is where you capture. Now, after they've been captured, the next thing for you to do is to activate them. There's a stage where we call activation. All right, there is an activation stage for everyone here. All right, so at this stage of activation, you are not just starting a journey, you are knowing the people you are starting a journey with. Because the moment you've activated them, there is a conversation. Until they have a conversation with you, you don't stand a chance to sell to them. All right, so now you have to sit and know how your funnel must be structured. For people in the paid group, we have a session on Saturday. Yeah, we have a session on Saturday where I am going to be practically taking you through the audience filtering and segmentation in your media buying, in your advertising process. So now I'm going to explain further about these stages as well when we get there on Saturday. Okay, now for everything I had explained to you regarding how you can build an authority, how you can communicate expertise, and how you can also showcase your strategies, you understand that everything I communicated there boils down to the fact that you must bring out content. All right? Are we still together? Are we still together?
Yes, yes, we are.
All right, I needed to be sure I'm not just talking to myself. Okay, so at this stage, you understand that content, as they said, is king, will always be king because everything you are going to use to build your digital trust boils down to the content you send out. Your strategy would also be captured with content, and you understand that content is in different ways. It can be text, it can be video, it can be graphics. So, irrespective of the format, the most important thing is, are you sending out the right content? Now, at this point, you have to understand that content would is actually what you will need to build the kind of authority you need for Nigerians in diaspora to easily accept you. First of all, you see, visibility is one of the most important aspects. So these people in diaspora are actively engaging on YouTube, looking out for information on YouTube. They are looking out for information on Google. You already know that's the biggest search engine in the world. They are looking out for the information on Google. They are looking out for the for information on YouTube. Now, the problem is that you don't know what they are looking out for. There is something called Google Trends. You can look out for a particular content based on a keyword, based on a niche. Yeah. And then there is also something called U-Tool, all right, where you can also use to see what people are searching for as well. All right, when you check out all these, and there is also in one of those practical sessions with the paid participants, there is something on Google. There's a Google Chrome add-on, yeah, that will help you in your keyword research for what people are looking out for. Now, this will now form your topics. Now, you don't just create your content based on how you feel. All right, you make your content based on how you know that this is what people are searching for. Like every week, I get to see what people that discovered my channel were searching for. And I realized that with this keyword, more people are also looking for this same thing. So I get to develop my content on YouTube based on what people have been searching for as well. When I'm titling it, I also get to title it that way. I also get to title it that way so that by the time they come in, it will be easier. all right, for them to, by the time they search for it, to be easier for them to discover me. All right, so by and out, your visibility is very important. All right, be it social media visibility, learn to use hashtags. Learn to use hashtags, all right? And then learn to, at the moment, you will go more viral when you use real, all right? When you use your real, now don't just create your video content that is everything. It has to be about your building that you are selling, the land you are selling. Infuse. Now your content has to must be it must have these three integration: entertainment, education, and information. Those are the three important things you must infuse in your content. Most importantly, entertaining content. Now you realize that you post every day but people don't share, and then one day you decided to post a comic content and you see a lot of reaction and shares. Now it simply means that originally social media was not created for business. Social media was originally created for education, entertainment, and social connection with families, friends, and colleagues. Now, being that where two or three are gathered, market is established. The founders of the platform realize that there are much people here, we can actually make a marketplace. So still build it in mind that the algorithm sees the platform as a social media platform, not a marketplace. So when you are creating your content for your business, infuse entertainment, infuse social activities. I mean, let that social part of you be infused in your content. Let people see it and smile even when they are learning. All right. Don't just come and say, I have this property in Lekki. And then if you are looking for a unique property to invest in, talk to me. You can just that same property, you can just say, I just realized that with even an average income earner, I can still help you become a landlord in Lekki if you are willing to work with me within 6 months. But then there is an immediate one here for someone who can afford immediately. But this is the peculiarity in this particular one. It's actually a property that can actually do this, can actually do this, can actually do that. And you understand, people in Lagos who do not like to, I mean, fly in the flying boats when it's raining season. I have taken out my time. That's actually an infused joke there, but you make it better than mine. I've actually taken my time to check the environment and I realize that it is not every part of Lekki that floods. And this is why this particular one is special. It's not for everyone. If you are one of those who want to escape flood and live in a comfortable, all those infused, and then in that, while editing it on your CapCut, you can easily just bring in the flood and then bring in a little comic image at that point. All right, and then it will infuse comic and marketing into it together, and you realize that your call to action is attached, and suddenly people start sharing it and you are wondering, wow, so people can share content like this because you have infused what they've been looking for. Don't just share content, you need to go viral, you need to be visible. All right, I wrote a particular content one time, and then till today is the highest I've had. All right, you can be controversial. In fact, the content I wrote was then I was actually looking for. I was having trainings for network marketers, and I titled it "The Scam Called Network Marketing." So now it was controversial. Network marketers started reacting angrily. Most of them started bashing me in the comments, and then they went back to read the full content and came still back to apologize and started sharing the content. The content went very viral, and guess what? I integrated a call to action, and many of them were redirected to the link on my landing page, and then they signed up for the training. So, what am I trying to say? Most time, be intentionally controversial, and because controversy is a strategy in marketing, especially viral marketing. All right, social media marketing today, you have to intentionally integrate. Even banks and top organizations understand this. Pepsi have used it. Coca-Cola have used it. All these top brands know it. Sterling banks have used it. GT banks have used it occasionally. Airtel and MTN have been in controversies in their marketing strategies. Use it, integrate it in your own. All right. In the process, you are going to have social engagement. When you have social engagement, you are going to build an authority because they see people who are consistently engaged as an authority in that particular niche. And then when you are consistently engaged and then you are now considered as an authority, someone will easily want to drop their details, which in the end you have now acquired lead. All right. So it becomes very easy when you understand this structure. It's not that you just wake up and start posting randomly and then you start complaining. And then the next thing is to present your offer when you have been able to activate them and then continue to create your brand awareness and repeat. All right. So we already know the top three categories of buyers in this, all right, and then the scientific effect on this. But this is it. I actually want you to. I would have actually talked about this, the scientific thought frequency that handles prospects to make them feel like there is a religious connection, there is a spiritual, no, rather, there's a spiritual connection. All right, by virtue of where we are, most people see this as a spiritual effect, whereas it's actually just a scientific establishment. Now, this is it. If you have sent your quotation or if you have contacted a client, you have built up your conversation to a certain stage, and then he said, I will get back to you. And then you woke up one night, even if it's at the middle of the night, and you remember that client, send him a text. He has also thought about it. He probably was up at that time. And then when that text comes in, two things will happen. Whoa, I just thought about this guy. This could be God's way of saying, go ahead with the transaction. Now, it has happened a couple of times. You thought about someone, you call them and they say, wow, what a coincidence. Oh, my, this spirit, they walk. Oh. That's actually how they say it. So when it happens to you, please go ahead, send them a text if it is middle of the night. If it is daytime, call them immediately and you'll be shocked to know that they were also thinking about you. All right. So for those in the paid group, please, on Saturday is our session. For those who did not get to buy the course, enjoy the paid session, I'm sorry. You missed out. But then you can still chat me, but then you probably have missed the discount. But send a message to me on my DM on WhatsApp. Then I can take you through the process, and then you can also join the alumni support group, where you are going to also join the 3 months um, post course purchase assistance. Or I usually call it post bootcamp virtual assistance. I want to be sure that you are implementing it rightly until you start getting result. Did you get any value tonight?
Yes, sir.
All right. So, any question, please ask your question. We still have, I said this class for 1 hour, so we still have 7 minutes to go. Any question, please?
Uh, Sir, maybe in the course of our mentorship or this, I think I'll be having mine because I'm still watching while at the same time I'm here to implement that. I keep watching in order to know because I've been getting a lot of value from everything you have shared in the recorded video, sir.
All right. Thank you so much. And on Saturday is our session for the paid participants. All right. I'll see you on
Okay.
Saturday. Any other question, please? All right. In the absence of no question,